everyone, and welcome. You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Anna Clee from Las Vegas. It is Sunday, December 6, 2020. Tonight we have updates from several of our correspondents across North America, starting with our bureau chief, Thomas Likeness in Edmonton, Alberta.
Protesters ignore the Alberta government's restrictions.
Rose Papaangelis in Beltsville reports about Maryland setting a new record high of COVID-19 cases. Our bureau chief, Myla Simbulan in Swarthmore, Pennsylvania.
Expansion of a pharmaceutical company in Pennsylvania to develop COVID-19 vaccine and create more jobs. And hospital staffing shortage in some region of Pennsylvania by next week.
Next, we have Monique Velasco in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, reports about Mayor Broome and the Baton Rouge Police Department launching community crime camera programs. We go to Julianne Simbulan in Lancaster, California.
Southern California ICU capacity falls below 15% as COVID-19 cases, hospitalizations continue to break records.
And we'll hear from Alan Basileaje in Los Angeles, California, reports about a free COVID test service drawing hundreds of Los Angeles residents to the outreach event. In Las Vegas, Lori Jarvina reports about hospitals and nursing homes as first to receive COVID-19 vaccine in Nevada. Claudine Cadet in Kissimmee, Florida, reports about the 119th birthday of Walt Disney. And for ABC Sports, Tandy Sumage in New York joins us tonight.
Minnesota Timberwolves' KarlAnthony Towns loses 7 family members, including his mother, to COVID-19.
Plus, for tonight's virtual roundtable discussion, today is National Microwave Oven Day, and we'll ask our team about the many ways they use this high-powered appliance. But first, an overview of today's COVID-19 numbers. According to the Coronavirus Resource Center of Johns Hopkins University in Medicine, as of 6 p.m. Eastern Time Sunday, December 6, 2020, the number of cases of COVID-19 reported worldwide is now more than 66,818,000. Top 3 on the list of countries with recorded cases, with U.S. on the lead with 14.6 million, followed by India, 9.6 million, and Brazil with 6.5 million. More than 1,533,000 lives worldwide have succumbed to this virus. Top 3 countries with the most number of COVID-19 related deaths are U.S. with more than 281,000, followed by Brazil with more than 176,000, and India with more than 140,000. Biotech firm BioCAD in St. Petersburg produces the Russian GAM COVID vaccine registered under trade name Sputnik V. At the beginning of December, Russian President Vladimir Putin told health officials to start widespread vaccinations from December 7th, adding that Russia has produced close to 2 million doses of its Sputnik V vaccine. Sputnik V, dubbed after the Soviet-era satellite, is currently in its 3rd and final stage of clinical trials involving some 40,000 volunteers. Moscow on Saturday began vaccinating workers at high risk of becoming infected with the coronavirus at newly opened clinics across the city. Health officials said they had opened 70 coronavirus vaccine centers in the Russian capital that would initially offer jabs for health, education, and social workers. Officials said citizens from the main risk groups who, in connection with their professional activities, come into contact with a large number of people can get vaccinated. Meanwhile, U.S. President-elect Joe Biden said Friday that Americans face a grim employment picture and will need immediate help to get through the coming months as COVID-19 cases surge. Take a look.
I'm not alone in saying this situation is urgent. If we don't act now, the future will be very bleak. Americans need help, and they need it now. And they need more to come early next year.
In related news, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres warned Thursday that the world could be fighting the aftershocks of the COVID-19 pandemic for decades to come, even if vaccines are quickly approved. Opening a special UN summit on the virus being held virtually as a safety precaution, Guterres hailed the quick scientific progress, but cautioned that vaccination was not a panacea for the ills affecting the planet. Guterres said a vaccine cannot undo damage that the world has to face for decades.
In some situations, there was a rejection of facts and an ignorance of the guidance. And when countries go in their own direction, the virus goes in every direction. Vaccines may become available within the next weeks and months. But let's not fool ourselves. A vaccine cannot undo damage that will stretch across years, even decades to come. Extreme poverty is rising. The threat of famine looms. We face the biggest global recession in 8 decades. And these intergenerational impacts are not due to COVID-19 alone. They are the result of long-term fragilities, inequalities and injustices that have been exposed by the pandemic. I have repeatedly called for a COVID-19 vaccine to be a global public good available to everyone, everywhere. The Act Accelerated and its COVAX facility are the tools to get us there. But there is still a finance gap of $28 billion, including $4.3 billion urgently needed for the next 2 months. And
leaders or senior officials from more than 100 countries will take part in the summit through short, pre-recorded speeches. But diplomats do not expect the virtual 2-day gathering to lead immediately to major decisions. Guterres reiterated his call that vaccines be considered a global public good that are shared around the world. And now in Canada, protesters are rejecting Alberta government's pandemic restrictions despite the spike in COVID-19 cases. In Edmonton, Bureau Chief Thomas Leckness reports. Thomas?
Thank you, Anna. It seems that big fines don't seem to be a deterrent for the anti-mask, anti-public health restrictions protesters in my province, Alberta. For a second weekend in a row, hundreds flooded the streets of downtown Edmonton, downtown Calgary, bleating that the restrictions imposed to control COVID-19 violate their rights. The conspiracy theorists joined this gaggle of protesters promoting their take on the pandemic. You know, Alberta Premier Jason Kenney says, I'm just tired of hearing this misinformation.
Well, have come up with all kinds of conspiracy theories to explain it away or to explain it. But look, at the end of the day, this is real. If you don't think it's real, just talk to an intensive care unit nurse in Calgary or Edmonton.
Now, Kenney isn't the only political leader in the province who's tired of this line of thinking. Also fed up with the antics of these groups, Calgary Mayor Naheed Nenshi.
Don't do stuff that puts people at risk. It's self-indulgence. It's luxurious, and we don't have the luxury for that right now. It's deeply, deeply selfish. And I don't got time for selfishness. I don't have time to indulge people like this. Our job is to keep everyone safe. And as Chief Neufeld very aptly put it, you hate the rules, write the Premier. Write me. Don't go out there and barge into shops and put other people's safety at risk. Don't have time for it. We're not in a world where we can indulge that kind of selfish behavior. Simple as that. And I know that the government of Alberta feels exactly the same way.
Now, police say they'll go after the organizers of these events. They face $1,200 fines. For our listeners in the Philippines, that's 45,000 pesos. Outdoor gatherings in Alberta are limited to no more than 10 people. So currently, Alberta has the highest number of active cases in Canada. As of today, we're more than 19,000. This is frightening. Since yesterday, COVID-19 has killed 19 people in Alberta, or about 1 every hour and 15 minutes. So this is no hoax. These numbers are real. Those lives are real. I'm going to give the last word on this to Alberta's Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Dina Hinshaw.
Not the rules. You were sparing someone from the worry of watching a loved one battle COVID-19. You might even spare them the pain and loss of losing someone to the virus.
That advice in these times, it applies worldwide. In the meantime, I wish you all good health. Remember to take care of others. Take care of yourselves. Stay home, stay safe, and stay tuned to Eagle News for accurate and balanced coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic and other current affairs. In Edmonton, Canada, Thomas I. Likeness, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Anna.
Thank you, Thomas. That $1,200 fine should be a deterrent, for people to to not follow the rules. Are the rules being enforced?
Well, they are, but it doesn't seem so obvious. What's happening at these large gatherings, police are not issuing tickets on the spot unless somebody was really overtly doing something they shouldn't. Instead, they're going after the organizers and ticketing them after the fact. The situation is they don't want to provoke violence because some of these people, quite frankly, they're unpredictable. Targeting the people who organize these protests, though, may be more effective. You get the organizers out of the picture, hit them with enough $1,000 plus fines, and maybe you'll get their attention. Anna?
I agree, Thomas. Go to the root, go to the source, right? Well, you stay safe there, Thomas. Thank you for your report, and thank you for joining us tonight.
You take care, Anna.
When we come back, updates from our Eagle News correspondents in Beltsville, Maryland, Swarthmore, Pennsylvania, and Baton Rouge, Louisiana. This is Eagle News America. Stay with us.
Hello there. Imagine Demi got the virus, and she infected 2 more. And those 2 infected a lot more of people. And it goes on until it became an epidemic. But what if Demi stayed at home? Then those 2 wouldn't have contracted the virus. Then those people would have not been infected. This is not just your battle, it's everyone's, and you can be a huge help. Follow social distancing, or better yet, stay at home.
Events happen around us all the time, in our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced. Eagle News, because we live in interesting times.
It's time to take one step further and face the impossible. Time to search the unknown and fight for the truth. Time to overcome boundaries and connect the world. It's time for DW News.
You are watching Eagle News America. I'm Anna Cui in Las Vegas. Facing a COVID-19 virus resurgence in the state, Maryland Governor Larry Hogan announced the first wave of the coronavirus vaccine is expected to cover only 155,000 doses, just enough for about half of Maryland's healthcare workers. In Beltsville, Maryland, Eagle News correspondent Rose Papaangelis reports.
Thank you, Anna. Maryland set a new record of 3,792 cases on Friday. Compared to today, Sunday, the number of added cases decreased, with 2,643 diagnosed as positive. 26 more have passed from the deceased and 22 were released from hospitalization. The statewide positivity rate climbed to 8.14%, with an increase of 0.10% from the previous day. Development of vaccines have been in the works amidst the surging cases across the nation. The Pfizer and Moderna COVID-19 vaccines are being considered to be given the green light for emergency use. Both vaccines are said to be more than 90% effective. Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar estimates that roughly 20 million could be vaccinated by the end of this year. The goal is to have a sufficient amount of doses for those who want one by the first half of 2021. Though many have concerns about the safety of the vaccine, CDC assures that they are being evaluated and carefully in clinical trials and will only be approved with desired results. For more information about vaccinations, visit the website of Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. With development of the coronavirus vaccines, it was voted by the CDC Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices to give first priority of the vaccine to healthcare workers and long-term care facilities residents. Hogan's announcement on Wednesday of the first wave of the coronavirus vaccine is expected to cover only 155,000 doses, enough for about half of Maryland's healthcare workers. Providing a vaccine for all will take a great amount of time and resources, but all hands are on deck to move forward and battle this virus. In Beltsville, Maryland, Rose Papa Angeles, Eagle News, will live in interesting times. Back to you, Anna.
Thank you, Rose. Now, several stories from Pennsylvania tonight. The expansion of a pharmaceutical company to develop COVID-19 vaccine that is anticipated to create more jobs in the state. And a foreseen shortage in hospital staffing in some regions of Pennsylvania in the coming week. In Swarthmore, Bureau Chief Myla Simbulan joins us this evening. Myla?
That's right, Anna. U.S. Specialty Formulations, or USSF LLC, a pharmaceutical manufacturing company, will expand its operations in Allentown, Lehigh County to continue its work developing a COVID-19 vaccine in partnership with VaxForm LLC. This project will create at least 97 new high-paying positions at the site. USSF will expand its 41,000 square foot facility in Allentown and will request an FDA Emergency Use Authorization, or EUA, approval to release a COVID-19 oral injectable vaccine in mid-2021. In order to meet the schedule, the company must make renovations, acquire equipment, and hire new employees. There is currently a global shortage of pharmaceutical manufacturing capacity, further exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, and very limited capacity for clinical investigators to obtain appropriately documented clinical grade materials. USSF has been able to address both of these market challenges. USSF has also partnered with fellow Ben Franklin Technology Partners company VaxForm LLC to adapt an emergent oral vaccine platform technology to act as a vaccine for COVID-19. This oral platform was originally designed and has been successfully tested to show that it produces the antibodies required to generate immunity to diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis. After the COVID-19 genomic structure was identified, this oral platform was modified to generate the appropriate proteins to produce the proper immune response in mammals. USSF will be providing clinical materials from its Allentown plant for the human phase 1 clinical safety trial scheduled to begin in February 2021. The project was coordinated by the Governor's Action Team, an experienced group of economic development professionals who report directly to the governor and work with businesses that are considering locating or expanding in Pennsylvania. Meanwhile, here is the current number of COVID cases here in Pennsylvania. As of December 4, there were 12,348 additional positive cases of COVID-19, bringing the statewide total to 388,436. This is the highest daily increase of COVID-19 cases. There are 4,982 individuals hospitalized with COVID-19. Of that number, 1,048 patients are in the intensive care unit. Most of of the patients hospitalized are ages 65 or older. Due to the increase in hospitalizations, there is an anticipated staffing shortage in Southwest Pennsylvania by next week. Here's Department of Health Secretary Dr. Rachel Levine to tell us more. Take a look.
As you know, last week I issued an order related to hospitals that will require elective procedures to stop if triggers are met that include staffing, COVID surge, and bed capacity. To date, no healthcare coalition region has met all three triggers. However, the Southwest PA region and the Keystone region coalitions have met the staffing trigger. As a reminder, this means that a third or more of the hospitals in the region anticipate staffing shortages within the next week. To address this, the coalitions are using our healthcare preparedness structure to ensure regional coordination to address medical surge and resource needs at the regional level. And the Department of State and the Department of Health have issued waivers to allow more healthcare providers to provide care in Pennsylvania's hospital. But
Pennsylvania's current percent positivity is 14.4%. It was 11.4% last week. In Swarthmore, Pennsylvania, Myla Simbula and Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Anna.
Thank you, Myla, for your report. You mentioned that the U.S. specialty formulation is working with the governor's team. So did they receive any funding from the government?
Yes, they did, Anna. USSF received a funding proposal from the Department of Community and Economic Development, or DCED, here in Pennsylvania, for $291,000. Pennsylvania first grant, and was encouraged. They were also encouraged to apply for a $2.4 million Pennsylvania Industrial Development Authority loan. And just FYI, the company has also committed to invest at least 5.2 million into the project, and the company will create 97 new high-paying jobs and retain 14 more positions, which is good for Pennsylvania.
Yes, absolutely, especially during these times. Well, thank you, Myla, for joining us tonight. We'll see you in a little bit.
Thanks, Anna.
Baton Rouge Mayor Sharon Weston Broome and the Baton Rouge Police Department launched community crime camera programs, which means connecting community-owned cameras to the Baton Rouge Police Real-Time Crime Center. In Baton Rouge, Eagle News correspondent Monique Velasco with the details.
Thank you, Anna, and hello from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. On Tuesday, Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome, Baton Rouge Chief of Police Murphy Paul, and Gary Paturu of the Sherwood Forest Crime District announced two new initiatives that will connect community-owned security cameras to the Baton Rouge Police Real-Time Crime Center. The first initiative will come from Sherwood Forest, one of 33 neighborhoods in East Baton Rouge Parish, where residents voted to fund crime prevention districts. Currently, the Sherwood Forest Crime District Camera Program is connecting live surveillance camera feeds and license plate readers from the 16 entrances along the perimeter of the neighborhood directly to the police department's real-time crime center. This pilot program will help set an example for other crime districts that are interested in joining the virtual neighborhood watch in the future. Mayor Broome stated, "I'm committed to bringing 21st century policing to our community, which means making the right kind of investments that will protect our residents and giving our police officers the tools they need to keep us safe." The Sherwood Forest Crime District used its own funds to purchase, construct, and mount the surveillance equipment and license plate readers. Comprised of over 3,100 homes, Sherwood Forest is the largest crime district in Louisiana. Other Baton Rouge neighborhoods are already starting to implement the same program. Gary Paturu stated, "We are building a digital defensive perimeter which other crime districts can emulate. Sherwood Forest has made the investment in partnership with Mayor Broome and Chief Paul. Now, other neighborhoods need to simply purchase their own crime cameras and plug into the real-time crime center. The second initiative is the Connect Blue Baton Rouge directory, which upon request will let residents and businesses share access to their public-facing security cameras with the Baton Rouge Police Department. Thereby, when a crime happens, BRPD can communicate quickly with directory members and request the security video. Businesses and residents can both join the Connect Blue Baton Rouge directory at brla.gov/connectblue. Earlier this year, the BRPD launched these public safety initiatives and its multi-screen technology center, which features live traffic cameras and maps that track active calls. Officers assigned in the real-time crime center can communicate with officers on the ground to provide situational awareness as they respond to calls. Chief Paul stated, "The Sherwood Forest cameras are only the first of the many we hope to add to the program over the next year." As other neighborhoods, businesses, and citizens join this initiative, also, the Connect Blue Baton Rouge directory is only one of several technology tools that we've put in place to adopt smarter 21st century policing practices. Hope you're staying safe there in your part of the country. In Baton Rouge, Louisiana, I'm Monique Velasco, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Anna.
Thank you, Monique. When we come back, updates from our Eagle News correspondents in Lancaster, California, Los Angeles, California, and Las Vegas, Nevada. This is Eagle News America. Stay with us.
It says the best defense is still containment.
We are in uncharted territory.
Final volume 450. The 5 to 100%. Traffic ban. Construction eh.
Innovation, digital disruption, globalization. Startups, micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as large corporations, all face interesting challenges in the market today. Peek into the world of exciting opportunities and partnerships to drive growth with the latest business news and information. We are open for business. Join the conversations to create a more vibrant environment for entrepreneurship. Catch Open for Business every Saturday from 5 to 6 p.m. Open for Business, from vision to action.
Hey there, Arnie Aquino here at Hatley Castle, one of the filming locations for the X-Men series. Don't forget to tune in to Digital Nest only on Net 25.
This is Eagle News America. I'm Anna Cui in Las Vegas. Southern California ICU capacity falls below 15% as COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations continue to break records, prompting the Public Health Department to modify health officer order. In Lancaster, Julianne Simbulan reports.
Thank you, Anna. With confirmed coronavirus cases skyrocketing throughout the nation, California Governor Gavin Newsom announced an order last Thursday geared towards slowing the spread of the virus and surge seen throughout the state. This order divided the state into 5 different regions and would place business and travel restrictions on counties in those regions based on their hospital ICU bed capacities falling below the 15% threshold. With this order, if a region's ICU bed capacity dropped below the 15% requirement, it would be placed on a regional stay-at-home order, providing them 24 hours to implement restrictions to at least 3 weeks. According to the California Department of Public Health, as of yesterday, Southern California's ICU bed capacity fell to 12.5%. Effective tonight at 11:59 p.m., the Southern California region will enter the regional stay-at-home orders along with the San Joaquin Valley region, whose ICU bed capacity is now at 8.6%. With this mandate, the following sectors and activities in the affected region must temporarily close: hair salons and barbershops, movie theaters, indoor and outdoor playgrounds, museums and zoos, amusement parks, live audience sports, personal care services, and family entertainment services. The temporary closure of businesses and activities is very much similar to what Los Angeles experienced in March earlier this year. With ICU bed capacities plummeting below the 15% threshold, Governor Newsom states, quote, "This is the most challenging moment since the beginning of this pandemic. The bottom line is, if we don't act now, our hospital system will be overwhelmed," end quote. Today, Los Angeles County once again breaks the record with positive COVID-19 cases at 10,528 and hospitalizations at 2,855 with 23 deaths. To date, they are now a total of 449,851 COVID-19 cases and 7,909 deaths. In Lancaster, California, Julianne Simbolan, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Anna.
Thank you, Julianne. Now, we are all aware of Los Angeles, but what other counties fall under the Southern California region?
So, Anna, the other counties in the Southern California region include Imperial, Inyo, Los Angeles, Mono, Orange, Riverside, San Bernardino, San Diego, San Luis Obispo, and Santa Barbara. So, all these counties, including Los Angeles, of course, will have the state regional stay-at-home order be in effect tonight at 11:59 p.m.
In Lancaster, are you included in that?
Yes, our stay-at-home order will also be beginning at 11:59 p.m. tonight. So we have to get ready for that lockdown once again.
How are you feeling about that, a second lockdown?
I think I feel really good about it because I feel like, considering these numbers, we really need to do this lockdown, I feel.
Yes, absolutely. So we have to do our part. Well, stay safe out there, Julianne. And
Thank you.
3 weeks, you'll go by fast. Maybe you'll pick up a new hobby once again.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Now, still in Los Angeles, a free COVID-19 test service draws hundreds of Angelinos to the outreach site, sponsored by the Iglesia Ni Cristo or the Church of Christ. In Los Angeles, Alan Basalyahe reports.
In Los Angeles County, the rate of COVID-19 related cases has skyrocketed, and in response, more and more COVID testing sites have been established. In Panorama City, California, one such site is projected to test far more than the 500 Angelinos who registered for today's event. The Iglesia Ni Cristo, in partnership with the Felix Y. Manalo Foundation, is working with the City of LA to provide free testing, free food, and free PPEs.
What took place here today is something that the mayor brought out. Is what we're doing is we're COVID testing citizens of people with appointments and non-appointments, which means walk-ups. And today at the church today, we had 500 scheduled, and we tested over 1,000. Roughly 1,200 people got tested today. We're still having people come in to get tested. We tested 500 people within 2 hours, so we had to get more test kits. But I think it was a success in the end. Everybody got tested, and nobody got turned away.
This church of Christ, is doing a great event today where they're actually hosting free COVID testing. And someone who feels great, I still would like to know where I stand. And the Church of Christ put on a great event. I had an appointment at 12:30. I probably waited in line for maybe 20 minutes max. The test was quite simple. You put a swab in your mouth for 20 seconds all around. You put it back in this tube, you bag it up, and that's pretty much it, man. So I think it was a great thing for the Church of Christ to put on such a good event and have such a turnout. I mean, there's like thousands of people showing up.
When you get a test for $125, so it's the same thing. And if you know that you can do this for free, like I don't want to spend like $250 for the test. So, yeah.
For people who can't afford it, this is an amazing, amazing gift.
I think it's really great what everyone's doing. Everyone's so nice here, and it's such an easy opportunity, free, so get tested. There's no reason why I shouldn't.
Está perfecto, estoy muy agradecida que estén este programa está interesado en la salud.
When I got here, I told the person that I had a back problem, that I couldn't stand too long on the line, and he immediately brought me over here. He knew that I was disabled, I have difficulty walking, so he immediately brought me over here and sat me down, and they brought the results, the packet so that I can do and he gave me the instructions how to do it.
Our staff was able to gather, through donations, we were able to gather hand sanitizers, face masks, additional resources, mental health resources for individuals, for our community. So our job is to provide that information, the education, the knowledge about what to do and how to protect yourself from COVID.
We know that everyone is maybe worried or anxious or stressed out, so we just wanted to give back to the community, make everyone feel more at ease, happy if possible, by giving them just a little bit of help, snacks on the way out, together with hand sanitizers, face masks, necessities that we use every day, just to help them with what we're all going through right now. Our event here is just one amongst many. We have a drive to help our fellow men and countrymen there in Africa. We have another type of activity where we're planning to give our donations, clothing and food to those people that were affected by the recent typhoons and floods in the Philippines. So it's not just here in LA. Different places around the world, the church administration, through the leadership of Brother Eduardo Manalo, is thinking for how we can help those who are in need.
Scenes of packed testing sites in Los Angeles have become an all too common occurrence for pandemic-weary residents coping with how COVID-19 has reshaped their lives.
Some people get economic. Like me, I work in a restaurant, and it's going to be 3 weeks with no work, so it's going to be really hard. And probably after those 3 weeks, it can be more. We never know, but hopefully no.
Depressing for many. Mental health issues have gone up. I work in a hospital, so we see how people are coping with the pandemic, and it's the numbers are rising, unfortunately.
She had it 2 weeks ago and gave me it. I had no symptoms.
I got all of them.
Yeah.
I had coughing, sore chest, sore stomach, I threw up,
You didn't have a fever.
Oh, the only thing, that's right, I did not have a fever, and I did not lose my sense of smell and taste. But everything else I was in bed for many, many days, just feeling awful, awful.
At least for the immediate present, regular COVID testing has become a way of life for many, brought about by the effort to safeguard one's own health, as well as that of family and society in general.
I have my granddaughter, she's only 4, so I just want to make sure that I'm okay. Even though that I did it 3 months ago, I want to make sure.
For our daycare, we're supposed to like for his daycare. We're supposed to pass the test twice during this week. So, and it was really hard to find some places because it's overbooked everywhere.
Someone who feels healthy as ever, you don't want to put others in harm. So I think it's just important for everybody just knowing where you stand, just for self. You don't want to put others in harm, even if you feel good. Just get the test done, just to know where you are. And if it happens to be on the positive side, which we all don't want it to be like that, but then you know what you have to do as far as the next steps.
To keep our people safe. Yeah, our family. Yeah, it is very important to stop the coronavirus.
Testing is set to continue for another 3 hours or so, and as you can tell, there's no shortage of sun or people waiting to get tested. But despite the long lines and the potential vitamin D overdose, Angelinos are willing to exchange part of their day for a little peace of mind. In Panorama City, California, Alan Bosoyahe, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
Thanks, Alan. Now, as states prepare to receive their share of the first batch of COVID-19 vaccines, Nevada allots theirs for hospital staff and nursing home staff and residents. In Las Vegas, Lori Jarvina files this report.
Thank you, Anna. I'm very happy to report that there is light at the end of this dark pandemic tunnel, and that light is the first round of COVID-19 vaccines. On Friday, the Nevada Department of Health and Human Services received official notice from the Department of Defense and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention on the state's December COVID-19 vaccine allocation. In the month of December, Nevada is set to receive more than 164,000 doses, which will be used for hospital staff, skilled nursing facility staff, and residents, and other Tier 1 individuals. According to Nevada's playbook for statewide Operations Version 2 regarding the COVID-19 vaccination program, Tier 1 includes those whose occupations are considered to be the highest level critical infrastructure workforce, who keep the rest of Nevadans safe and healthy. It is expected that the federal allocations will get through Tier 1 by end of January 2021 and move quickly into Tier 2 during January and fully into Tier 2 by end of February. Tier 2 personnel include the workforce for critical infrastructure to include education and childcare staff, essential public transportation workers, agriculture, food processing, and essential retail workers, to name a few. The vaccine allocations include both Pfizer and Moderna doses. Both require 2 doses to be effective. The second dose will be administered 3 to 4 weeks after the first dose. The FDA's Vaccines and Related Biological Products Advisory Committee is planning to meet to review the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine emergency use authorization on December 10th, and then meeting December 17th to review the Moderna product. As part of the COVID-19 Scientific Safety Review Workgroup, Nevada continues to coordinate with other Western states in the independent review of the safety of any vaccine approved by the FDA for distribution. In Las Vegas, Nevada, Lori Jarvina, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Anna.
Thanks, Lori. When we come back, an update from Kissimmee, Florida, plus ABC Sports, and our roundtable discussion about the many uses of the high-powered appliance, the microwave. This is Eagle News America. Stay with us.
Pare, bilisan mo! Mag-alas 12 na! Hey guys, alas 12 na! Tara na!
Excuse me, padaan! Alas 12 na!
Turuan din natin ang mga bata ng tamang paghugas ng mga kamay. Basain ang kamay ng tubig at lagyan ng sabon. Kuskusin ang iyong mga palad. Gayon din ang pagitan ng mga daliri. Pati na ang likod ng mga palad at daliri. Ganon din ang iyong hinlalaki, kasama ang mga dulo ng iyong mga daliri. Pagkatapos ay iyong palapulsuhan. Gawin ito ng kahit 20 segundo. Pagkatapos ay banlawan ng tubig at patuyuin.
You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Anna Cui in Las Vegas. December 5 is Walt Disney's birthday, and today, Eagle News correspondent Claudine Cadet in Kissimmee, Florida, takes us down memory lane and shares with us how Disney is celebrating.
This weekend, we're celebrating Walt Disney's birthday. Since the Disney Company's origins in 1923, we've witnessed almost 100 years of entertainment thanks to the man behind the mouse. This year alone, Disney is celebrating with the hype of its new attractions in the Disney parks, which include the long-awaited Remy's Ratatouille adventure in Walt Disney World's Epcot in Florida to open in 2021. And the first anniversary of their streaming platform, Disney Plus, this past November 12th. But even in the almost 50 years Walt was in charge of the Disney Company, there's been groundbreaking growth in that time that even today, we're still feeling its ripples of influence in our culture. Do you remember Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? It was the first highly successful animated movie produced by the Walt Disney Productions with an initial budget of $1.49 million. It grossed $418 million at the box office, making it the highest grossing film of all time, until it was dethroned by Gone with the Wind. In 1955, the Disney Company redefined entertainment by expanding their movies into the real world with the opening of the Disneyland amusement park in California. It was also a smash hit that led to the opening of Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida in 1971, 5 years after Walt's passing, as well as parks and resorts all over the world. And we can't talk about Walt Disney without mentioning the most influential mouse of the second millennium, Mickey Mouse, who was brought to life by Walt himself in Steamboat Willie in 1928. And since then has been featured in films, television, and as of March 2020, his own ride at Hollywood Studios in Walt Disney World. So how are you all celebrating this weekend? I'm binge watching all of my favorite movies on Disney Plus, starting with this weekend's new Mandalorian episode. From Kissimmee, Florida, I'm Claudine Cadet, and we live in interesting times.
Time and again, COVID-19 shows it does not discriminate. Anyone can get it. As proof, the disease has also infiltrated professional sports, with athletes and their families getting sick, with some even losing their lives. KarlAnthony Towns of the Minnesota Timberwolves was directly impacted by the coronavirus. He speaks about his experience. Tenny Samagi has the story.
Back in March, when COVID-19 struck the greater New York area, Timberwolves All-Star and Edison, New Jersey native KarlAnthony Towns shared an emotional video on his Instagram account regarding his mother, who was incubated after contacting the virus. Towns' mother died on April 13 and since then has lost 6 other family members to the virus. Though committed to play this season, Towns is also trying to hold his family together and explains why he went on his personal Instagram account to address the emotions he is going through.
I'm trying to keep my sister, the kids, my dad out of harm's way, keep my family out of harm's way. I've seen a lot of coffins in the last 7 months, but 8 months. But I have a lot of people who have in my family, my mom's family, who have gotten COVID, and I'm the one looking for answers still, trying to find how to keep them healthy. So, it's just a lot of responsibility, a lot of responsibility on me to keep my family well informed and to make all the moves necessary to keep them alive. I just wanted to use my platform for good, and I would be lying if I said that I knew I had that kind of strength in me to do something like that at an emotional standard, when I'm not a person that's a very emotional guy. But situations brought the most strength out of me that I needed, and I look back and it's through all the things I've been through in my life and all the teachings and times my mother sat me down and raised me to be a man, that I was able to do something like that. I just wanted to help people. I've always been a person since I was young. I just never wanted people to feel the pain that I felt, and that was one of those moments where I leaned back on myself to not even want people to feel the way I felt. And I wanted to try to keep them from having the ordeal and situation that I was going through. I think that's where the video really came from. It just came from a place of, just didn't want people to feel as lonely and upset as I was. So I really made that video just to protect others and just to keep others well informed, even when I knew that it was going to take the most emotionally out of me than I've ever been asked to do.
We'll see the tandem of Towns and his good friend D'Angelo Russell as the T-Wolves take the court on December 23 against Blake Griffin and the Detroit Pistons. In New York, Tenny Sumagi, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
Thank you, Tenny. It's really good that he used, when he mentioned that he used his platform to get this good messaging out, to the public, for others to understand and to, not have to go through the same experience that he has. How do you think this will affect him both on the court and personally?
Anna, with these athletes, we don't see the vulnerable side of what they're going through, especially if they're going through something like, I'm sorry if I'm tearing up. When you go through something like what he went through. I know this personally, not through my own experience, when my father passed away. And my father passed away a day before I was supposed to give my first spring concert. And that was really emotional, having to go to work and just do what you have to do. But even just from that video, I watched that video when that was first, because I follow him on Instagram. And you could tell how much he really loves his mother. And a lot of these athletes too, we see how much they love their mothers, and you hear that his mother taught him to be a man. His mother supported him. His parents supported him. And the difficulty, it's always hard on the father when they lose, when the woman dies before the man, it's more difficult. So he has the burden of having to take care of not only himself, but his sister, his father, and then he also lost 6 other family members. I think his uncle just recently passed away, I think on Friday, due to COVID. So, he has a lot on his plate. You have to look at it as the way the Lakers played last season when Kobe Bryant died. They dedicated their season to Kobe. He's probably going to be all out. And he has his best friend, D'Angelo Russell, as his teammate now, who also helped him through his tragedy. And we'll see how his season will play out. But I think he's going to play lights out. He's an all-star. He's a beast on the court. He has his mom's, the legacy that his mom left him. He has that in his memory, and he's going to play out the season for his mom and his family members that passed away.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these athletes are very resilient, as we see, and our hearts and our thoughts go out to not only him, but to a lot of the families, a lot of the people who have experienced the same thing as he did. So thank you, Tenny, for that very touching story. Well, Now we're going to go on to our virtual discussion. Today is National Microwave Oven Day. According to nationaldaycalendar.com, American engineer Percy Spencer discovered a way to heat food safely with microwaves. In 1945, while Spencer was working with an active radar, he noticed a candy bar in his pocket was melting. The high-powered microwave beams created a heating effect ideal for cooking. Spencer then attempted cooking popcorn with the microwaves. Next, he tried cooking an egg. The egg test was less successful than the popcorn because it exploded in his fellow engineer's face. Well, however, today we can cook eggs in microwave ovens by poaching them. Spencer, employed by Raytheon, continued experimenting with different methods of heating food safely with microwaves. On October 8, 1945, Raytheon filed a United States patent application for Spencer's microwave cooking process. And in 1947, Raytheon built the first commercially available microwave oven. It was called the Radarange. It is said that an estimated 90% of homes in the United States have a microwave in them. So now let's go on to our team here tonight. How many, what kind of uses do you, besides the obvious, of course, heating up your leftovers, or tell us, maybe you've used it for a life hack or whatever you can share with us. We're going to start with Julianne in Lancaster.
So my microwave story is a bit of a cautionary tale. So I'm currently in college right now, and last year I was living in our dormitories for my university. And so it was during midterm season, and I was studying at my desk as well as my roommate in the same room. And then we started smelling this burnt smell. So we checked our microwave and we checked our fridge, but nothing was there. So I came out of the room and into the hall, and people are outside as well. And there was just this strong burnt smell. And then suddenly the fire alarm went off. So our RA just pushed everybody out of the building, this huge dormitory building. And everybody was crowding in the front of the dormitory, and then firefighters came in. And then later we found out that somebody from a couple floors above us put their ready-made mac and cheese into the microwave without any water. So, and he left it there. He ran away. He didn't come back for it. It caught on fire. So it was just a lesson to us to make sure you put water in your ready-made mac and cheese when you want to make some.
I don't mean to laugh, Julianne, but but yes, we got to read the directions very carefully, right? We've heard those similar stories where, like the cover of the the cover of like those soups, they have foil in them, and you're not supposed to put it in the microwave. So keep that in mind too. How about Myla? Myla, tell us about your microwave favorite story.
So yeah, I use a microwave to, this dish sponge. I put it in there they say it can kill the virus or it can kill any bad stuff on it. So for 3 minutes, I do that. I also put on the microwave to clean kitchen cleaning cloths. I also put that for 3 minutes in the microwave. So one of the cleaning hacks I use a microwave for, not just for heating food. Yeah, you can also use that for that purpose.
Oh, thank you for sharing, Myla. I didn't know that. Now, how about Thomas?
Okay, two things here. One food-related, quickly. Pandacel or croissants that are a day old. They're a little hard, a little crusty. Put them in and nuke them for about 15 to 20 seconds. They come back to a flavorful life. One non-cooking use, if you need a hot compress, get a damp rag. Make sure there's no metal in it or anything, but a damp rag, and again, put it in the microwave for maybe a minute, and you've got yourself a hot compress.
Yes, that works really well for, tight muscles, Thomas. Thank you for that. Now, Tenny, what about you?
Well, you know what I'm using my microwave for nowadays? I think that, I don't know if this is a Filipino thing, but where you put, if you have a lot of pots and pans and bowls, you sometimes stuff them in the oven. Well, I stuff also bowls in the microwave because I have no space. So microwaves are not also used to pop popcorn or to heat up stuff. You can also use it as a, as a, what do you call this? Places to put your
storage.
Storage, that's it. So that's what I'm using my microwave for.
I get it. Well, I never thought about that and never heard that before. So thank you for sharing that, Tenny. Well, thank you, team, for sharing with us your microwave stories. And we also continue to thank our healthcare workers, first responders, and essential workers with a round of applause. Let's join together to do that. We appreciate all of you. And that is today's Eagle News America. Thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Cui. We live in interesting times.
Sa mundong waring walang puwang para sa kanilang pagmamahalan, sapat pa ang tibok ng kanilang mga puso upang bumuo ng daigdig nilang sarili. Inihahandog ng Eagle Broadcasting Corporation ang kauna-unahang romantic teleserye ng Net25. Ang daigdig ko'y ikaw. Sa mundo. Tuwing Sabado, 8:08 ng gabi, dito lamang sa Net25.
At ako'y laging sa'yo hanggang magpakailanman.
Gusto namin maging happy ang mga viewers sa amin pagpapatawa, sa amin pag-entertain, iba-ibang segments and games.
Rumarampa! Lumalagpas! Lumarampa!
Batanes! Batanes!
Sa jackpot prize of 58,000 pesos, ang tamang sagot na hinahanap natin.
3, 2, 1!